What up? What up? What up, y'all? What is happening, sexy people? Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nights with Nikki, y'all. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. It has been a minute. As you can see in my introduction that I just put together at the last minute, I have been a busy beaver. I'm representing Detroit today. Detroit. What up, Doe? The city of Detroit. What it do? What it do? What it do? I went home. I went home and did something really special. I went home and spent some really good quality time with my sister. As you guys can see in the intro, we did a 5K for Head for the Cure, which is an amazing organization that helps a lot of people by working to find a cure to glioblastoma. And glioblastoma is what my sister has, which is to date an incurable form of brain cancer. But we gonna work it out. We gonna work it out. Hello, everyone. Hi, 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 beautiful people. Hello to everyone watching on Instagram. Hold on one second, you guys. I'm gonna have some guests up and through here tonight. Oh yeah, boom. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have some guests up and through here tonight. Yes. We are going to talk about a lot of things. One thing that I'm really excited about talking about is the debate, the presidential debate. We're getting some really mixed responses and mixed reactions from the debate. So I'm really curious to know what y'all's thoughts are. I want to do a live Q&A, which means I basically want to hear from all you beautiful, sexy people out there. Hello, Golden Horse on Instagram. Hello, Madam Memoirs. Hello, Miss Law. Hello, Southern Style International. To all my YouTube folks, thank y'all for watching on Worth TV. I see y'all and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Nights with Nikki. We'll have a couple special guests joining us because, I don't really like to talk too much about politics because, I don't know as much as I probably should, but I encourage everyone to become more familiar with this election and the candidates because when I tell you we need to vote like our lives depend on it, we're seeing every single day what's happening out here in these electoral streets. And it's not, it's crazy. Project 2025, I have read not all of it, but I've read enough to definitely um, confirm that it is not something that I want this country to ever engage in. And yeah, so it's a lot to talk about, but I'm not going to get all off deep into the political stuff because I want to ask you guys' opinions on a couple of hot topics out here. It's some hot topics in these streets. Again, if you're watching me on YouTube, first of all, speaking of hot topics, Diary of a Diva. Baby, that Diary of a Diva episode is episoding. Hey, Scenario, I see you, soror. Eep. Shout out to my sorors joining me on this live tonight. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, and I love you all so much. Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. And by the way, we did not have a party, okay? It was much more than a party. We celebrated doing a lot of good in Houston, as we do in all the cities all around the world with St. Jude and blood drives and empowering young women and girls and so on and so forth. But what we're going to do is we're going to get off into that a little bit because the man said a lot of stuff that was out of pocket. And I'm going to be real with y'all when I say I'm having a lightweight emotional week. It's been a long week. It's been a trying week, but we've accomplished a lot. Like I said, if you're just jumping in here, you didn't get a chance to see the clip of the 5K that I did with my sister. So hold on one second, you guys. I gotta send a text. Hold on, guys. um, Thank y'all for watching Diary of a Diva. Thank you guys for showing me and my entire team, our amazing producers, that you love those one-on-one conversations with the ladies from R&B Divas. I mean, our views are kind of through the roof. Well, I mean, for us, through the roof. I mean, there are people who get 10 and 20 times the amount of views that we've gotten. But it's really been good to see all of the really positive, great responses and all of the great feedback that we have gotten from each and every one of you who has watched it. So I'm sure Latavia appreciates it. And yes, we have an amazing show planned next. The next diva that is coming to the stage, or coming to our sit down to the couch, I should say, is going to knock your socks off. And just to be clear, you guys, it's not just going to be R&B divas. It's not all going to be about singers. Um, you'll be surprised to see who the next, I probably second or third person is. So, if you're a diva in business, if you're a diva in reality TV, if you're a diva in politics, if you're a diva, listen, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna get into it. And the thing I love about the show is that it gives us an opportunity to really dig deep and like allow people to share their stories. Right? It's not about popping something in the microwave and hurrying up and getting it because you got to get commercial breaks in and shit. You know what I'm saying? This is about allowing people to just sit down and share their perspectives, right? And that's something that you don't really get to see in television and media these days, because everybody's looking for the clickbait. Everybody's looking for the opportunity to like have people like, damn, did you see that? As opposed to people really, allowing themselves to take in a story, take in a part of someone's journey that they're willing to share, and be transparent. And I feel like the conversation with Monifa and I was definitely that. I definitely feel like the conversation with Latavia was that, and I'm looking forward to you guys seeing what the next one is. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. Just please make sure when you're watching on YouTube, because YouTube, thank you very much, is actually letting a sister live. You feel me? Um, I'm really excited about this new relationship we're building over there, because I don't know what's going on Instagram. I'm just going to call it what it is. I just don't know what's going on Instagram, Twitter, and some of these other outlets. Um, but YouTube, we are right over there. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And I encourage all of you to please press the like button, put a comment in the comment section, even if it's a heart or something. And I think that tells the YouTube algorithm that you're actually interested. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. I see you, Rhonda. Hi, baby. How are you? Divas Unlimited. Whoop, whoop. Let me shout out a couple other people, and then I'm going to bring on one of my guests, and we're going to talk a little bit about some things and hot topics and whatnot. This one really ain't going to be long. Hopefully, I encourage myself by saying that. But I'm a little tired because I've been traveling. I literally got off a plane today, but because I took a whole week off last week from Nights with NICCI, and I promised y'all I was going nightly. I said I was going to do this shit tonight. Hello, Jim is Jade. Hello, Esther Kim. Hello, affectionately. Hello, Divas Unlimited. I already said that. Hello, Cheryl Allen. Hi, everybody. I appreciate y'all. I know there are a bunch of people that are live right now, and the fact that you're spending time with me is really special. So I'm going to bring in, hold on, who do I have here? Hallelujah. There she is. Hello, El Boogie. Can I hear you? Are you muted? Are you muted? Hold on, honey. Let me check and see what's going on here, because I cannot hear you. I do not know what have happened here. I'm going to figure this thing out. You guys bear with me while we figure this thing out. Muted in sound levels. Okay, let's see what's going on. See, the thing is, I don't have a show producer, and because the budgets are going elsewhere, like to attorneys. You feel me? Hold on. Lauren, speak.
Ta-da! Here we are.
Ta-da! When I come to your town. Ta-da! When we're westward bound. Ta-da! Okay, I love it. Thank you. Super duper sweet. So, Lauren, I was in the D and I didn't even get a chance to hang out with you, boo.
I know. You was busy. I was
spissy. I was spissy. We was all doing all kinds of things and whatnot. And dear Instagram, I see what's happened. IG. You guys come on over to YouTube because it's going to be weird for y'all to look at it this way. I'm sorry. Come over to YouTube. That's where the party at. We'll see y'all. All right.
And we're matching because we both have on Detroit today.
Are we both wearing Detroit today?
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Not
Okay,
on purpose.
so
We did not do that on purpose,
we
but
are representing. Well, you have on Detroit and I have on Detroit. So
right. Always represent.
it's a little
Yeah.
slightly differentiate.
Right.
But did y'all know the Detroit little trivia? Did y'all have any idea that Detroit was actually a French city, a sister city to Cannes, France?
Mhm.
Right? It's got a little New Orleans, Detroit. It would be Detroit, I guess, if it was New
They
Orleans.
they twa-
Charlevoix,
yes.
that's
That's why
probably
so
New
many of
Orleans.
the streets are French names here.
Exactly. Exactly. So Lauren is our resident. What the hell is going on out here in these here internet streets? And she also happens to be my soror of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. And Lauren knows all, sees all. She's super duper smart. So Lauren, you watched the debate, yeah?
Yes. Yes, I
So
did.
what were your thoughts, honey? I'd like to know.
Well, my first thought was that it is very clear that he is the old man in the race now. He wanted to talk about President Biden, how he was an old man and he was losing his mind and stuff like that. And I'm
Funny
just
how the
like, first of
tables
all,
turn. Now it's you
right,
running after me.
that part. Like first they are 3 years apart, so y'all both old. He's just slightly older. But now your age is showing. Like I oftentimes when it's like debates and stuff like this, because politics is a really important thing and it's something that people need to be aware of and mindful of what's happening, because people are in office affect your life in ways that you may not think about on a regular basis. And he had a very hard time with sticking to the topic and or answering the question, which is what he always does. He never answers the question. He really talks about what he wants to talk about. But some of his responses were like, you don't seem like your mental capacity is at 100%, which is something that VP Harris called him out for. So it's just like he is now the old man. He needs to really just kind of sit this one out. But the Republicans are afraid of him for reasons unknown to myself. My conspiracy theory is that it has something to do with money, but I could be wrong because he's
What?
worth billions of dollars, but he never released his tax returns because he said the IRS wouldn't let him when the IRS came out and said that that was not true. So he's a habitual liar. There were over 33 things that he said yesterday that was incorrect by the fact checkers that watch these debates. He said over 33 things that were untrue, and
Mm,
Kamala Harris, I think, had one or two.
mm.
Huge difference. So I think he's unhinged. His running mate is not that much better because he wants to send women back to the 1850s. Forget the 1950s. Forget that. Their views on what a woman should and shouldn't be able to do with her body is ridiculous. And the fact that, 45 out of his mouth said that women can have abortions after they give birth make no sense. You cannot have an abortion after you have given birth.
It really
That would
brings it really brings
just
a lot of
menopause.
attention to this whole concept of term limits and like ageism and like whether or not you really do need to be sharper to kind of deal with all the things that are happening as we've evolved as a country, because it just
Right.
feels like our country has been stuck in this
Yeah.
space of the
Yes.
old fogey misogynistic shit. And I just really feel like now is a really good time for people to start being realistic about where we are as a country, right? We did not
Yeah.
have cell phones and um the transportation methods that we have in computers and the ability to put something into a computer or ask Siri into thin air about a question and have her answer it when our constitution was written, right? When a
Correct.
lot of those things happened, when a lot of these rules and regulations were created, many of us didn't
Right.
have any rights at all, let alone shit that was like literally flying drones and things like that. Now that we've evolved as a country and we've
Mm-hmm.
evolved as humankind, right? Mankind, right? It feels like America should be excited about a younger, fresher perspective on things. I mean, because after all, the older you are, the less in touch you are with the shit that's
True.
really happening in the world. And you rely on younger minds to help navigate it, right? So
True.
I
Very
feel like
true.
she was fresh and fly and flossy and bossy and ready. And he was
Yeah.
old and stale and corny and tired. And
And
I feel like,
confused,
and confused. How you feel, Miss Sophia? Confused. I
basically.
feel like the only thing that was missing was the rock back and forth. How about that part? I am going to. Woo. Yeah, I do feel like that was missing. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can do something a little different here. Hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a
Wait a
minute.
minute.
Wait
I'm
a
trying to
minute.
see. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to bring somebody else in here, but I don't want. No, I better not do it. I'll wait. I'll wait. She's in the green room, but I'm awake because I feel like I want the perspective. I was trying to see if I could just get the audio, but I haven't figured out how to do that. And I don't want to spend a lot of our time doing it. Okay, so another thing that came up during this debate, Lauren, um, and if you promise to keep your eyes on the road, see, here's the thing. My BFF is on the line and she's listening, and I told her I'm not bringing her on because she's in the car. The minute she
Right.
takes her eyes off the fucking road, I'm knocking her out of this live. Can we do that? Because I really want her perspective on this. The minute I see her take her eyes off the road and look at this camera, she's out of there. Hold on.
Yes. Yes. 'Cause she got a
She out of there.
not
Oh
sorry.
my goodness.
Hey friend, hey.
I'm lit.
Okay.
You're revoking my cards.
Look, I'm revoking your card. No, I just love my friend, and I don't want you. I want you to get into no car accidents. Listen, guys, it was so good to have the
Listen,
the crew back. So talk to us. Okay, she is okay. So let me just for those of you who might be just joining our Nights with Nikki nightly chat fest. This is just an opportunity to discuss the topics of the week or the topics of the day. And I have women and men and people who are just smart and say what the hell they got to say. And I introduced you to Lauren. This is Tyree. Tyree is, oh my God, when I just tell you, I don't know how I could do it without her. And she's an incredibly smart person. And her mom is actually, if you guys watched, what was it? Not last week, the week before
two,
last.
2 weeks
Two
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we were on the show and we learned. Well, I knew because that's my best friend, so I knew. But she shared she shared with a lot of y'all that her mom and her dad are Trump supporters, and her mother is white. She is biracial, and her father is white as well. So Tyree, so have you had a chance to talk
hello,
with your mom and keep it respectful with my auntie? You understand?
girl.
Talking about you. Tell us.
First
Right.
of all, as we speak about we're living in a world where technology is a new thing, you know, these cars drive themselves now, BTW. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I have
Oh,
my
okay.
little
So
I have
okay,
I'm looking at the road, but I also have my autopilot on just,
okay,
I actually drive with it all the time. But anyway, I'm
okay.
not going to look at the camera, but okay. Y'all know cuz I explained to you guys already that I'm fearful of asking cuz so no, I haven't asked. I literally
You
haven't.
didn't ask your mom if she watched the debate?
Oh, I haven't even spoken to my mom since yesterday. I've been on set for like the last two
Oh,
days. Like
okay,
my days are
okay,
like 10 hours. But asked because I'm fearful. I can't. Like
Mm.
if you watch the debate last night, it's like unnerving. Like I was so angry. there were several times I wanted to just turn it off because I couldn't listen to him anymore, but then I wanted to hear what Kamala had to say. So I would be like, oh, I want to turn it off. Oh, wait, I need to hear what Kamala has to say. So I was
Mhm.
going back and forth, but to what Lauren was saying, hey, Lauren, um,
Hey.
I don't understand. Like, it's more than just his age because he can't string thoughts together and he has no political reference ever. So there's no logical answer that comes. I was like, if you bring up the border one more time when we're talking about,
See, the borders are China.
yeah, we're talking about we're talking about healthcare. We're talking,
Mhm.
first of all, we're talking about healthcare right now, and he starts going back to the border. It's like, I don't know, you guys.
He
There's
was trying to distract us from the fact that he had no policy. And you know what
that he
irritates
had
the
no
shit out of me?
answer.
He has no answers. He had no policy. He was not prepared. And at the end of the day, what really pisses me off is that so many people like, where's her policy? She wasn't talking about policy. When did she have an opportunity to? First of all, she had a limited amount of time that she could talk about anything. And each time she had to have a rebuttal for
Had
the
to
lies
defend her.
that she had to defend herself. Because once you tell a
That's
lie so
right.
many times in the media, people start to believe it. And that shit is dangerous because like who really has an
Very.
abortion after the baby's born?
And he's also a
Like that doesn't even
mastermind
make
of,
sense.
all of us have had some sort of marketing, influence at some point where we've all been told that if you hear something enough, you believe it or you become familiar with it. And
Yes.
so that's what he does is he'll pick a word as volatile as it may be and he repeats it 3 times.
Yeah.
He'll pick a phrase
Yeah.
and he'll repeat it 3 times in a row because then it's like your brain can only concentrate on the thing that he's saying 3 times in a row. And then
Yeah.
you forget about the rest of what he's saying. And so, in that way, I would say that he's kind of mastered that skill of
Master
twisting,
manipulator, master narcissist. But
of
like
Con
twisting.
artist.
but and
Yeah.
Oh.
it's like what's crazy is like when you hear him say the word immigrant, it's almost like it's a bad word. And I'm like, immigrants
It's a
built this
bad
motherfucking
word.
country. Like why since when did immigrant become like the immigrant? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just it feels very conservative is the new word that they use for that.
Well, I mean,
It's
everybody's ancestors started off as
As
immigrants unless
immigrants.
they were Native Americans. Okay.
Right.
So his
which
ancestors were
they don't even
immigrants.
exist barely anymore because they've been killed off. So, no,
Exactly.
none of us actually belonged here.
Right. Everybody was an immigrant at some point in
At
time
some
Everybody's an
or
point.
immigrant,
enslaved, and we were brought here against our will. But that's another
or
topic for
that
another.
part.
And what's really interesting is that they talk about what did you guys think about the moderators? Did you feel like the moderators were one sided?
There were times when I felt like, why are they letting him say something again? It's like he say
Yes.
the craziness, she'd have to rebuttal, and then they'd let him say the craziness again and then change the subject. I'm like, that's not fair right there. He needs to say his piece, she say her piece, and then they move to the next thing. They never did
Mm-hmm.
that.
No, and it was always yeah.
I
Go
didn't
ahead. I'm
like
sorry.
it. I didn't like how they were supposed to have somebody controlling the volume on the mics, and you could tell at times where the volume was turned down, but I didn't like how when he was coming back to say the same thing again that they still would turn his mic back up, and it's just like we need to move on to
You
the
know what?
next
I have a
thing.
theory
Turn
on
this
that.
mic
I have a
off.
theory on that. I do have a theory on that. I have a theory on that because I was watching it with someone and they said the same thing. They were just like, why do they keep allowing him to go over and turn his mic up? And my theory is they're like, give him the rope. Let that fucker talk. Because the more he talked and the more time he had on that microphone, the
Mm,
more you're able to see exactly who your candidate for president is. And I think that that was a valuable play. Because you give
that's
somebody
true.
with way too much to say and
Did y'all
talking
see?
loud
So
and
I
strong and
thought,
wrong, I feel like that was a strategy. I hope it was. Because I did
oh,
notice that.
What did you guys feel about
did y'all
his
catch it?
dog's comment when he was talking about the animals? Like, okay, We all know you can't mention animals to the Americans. Like, first of all,
Right.
dying or eating them. What
Right.
he? How do you feel about that comment? And did he hang himself in that situation?
I definitely felt like he hung himself in that situation for sure. I felt like it
Mm,
sounded very like some shit that he just heard, on Instagram. I don't feel like it was what's the word I'm looking for? I don't feel like it was vetted. I don't feel like it was substantiated by any source at all, except
right.
Truth
And
Social
didn't they
or whatever
fact
that
check
is.
that live? They
Yeah,
fact checked
probably
that
so.
Yes.
live.
You know what I'm saying? I think if
Yes.
people were, I just want to believe that if we had people like eating animals, that the ASPCA, or whoever the people are that come, you know what I'm saying, when cruelty to animals is happening, they've investigated, they're outside, it's all kind of shit going on, and I think it's really tired because a lot of the people, and I think the thing is, his base is one that I think just really wants so desperately to believe in him that they're going to believe whatever he says, no matter how absurd and ridiculous it is. And that is
Mm-hmm.
also the same group of people who stormed the Capitol, right? Which makes it super dangerous, which is the reason why I think she was spending so much time clearing up the lies so that
Yeah.
people who would believe that
Yeah.
actually you can carry a baby to term and then decide on the ninth month right before you get ready to give birth that you want to abort a baby, which just people don't do that.
Who? I was
Yeah.
like, who does that? There aren't women who do that. That's not
People,
That's
that is
actually a
not, it's
thing.
not, it's illegal, like you can't,
that's
and then
that's
worse than
not a
that, there's
Unless,
nobody.
hold on, unless you have a miscarriage and it has to be done so you can deliver. But at that point, it's a
yeah.
stillbirth, not a. It's just, it's too much.
We are about
At
to
that
bring in
point, they
another
induce
voice
their
on this
labor.
conversation, you guys, real quick. Hold on one second, day. Let's see, how do we do this? This is the first time we've had the quad. Oh, yes, we've got the quad. Hold on for a second. I'm
Come
going
on,
to move.
quiet.
I'm
That's the best
excited.
number.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
excited.
trying to get
Who
this
is
lady.
it?
I'm trying to get this lady behind the wheel out the way.
Who, me? Oh,
Yo
I'm doing
ass.
so good.
You
I'm
are,
doing
you
so
are,
good.
you are. Ladies and gentlemen, she needs no introduction. This is the incredible, the incomparable Pamela Price, who is, hold on, boom, bam, boom. Pamela Price is an incredible woman who runs a bunch of organizations, and mine happens to be one of them. And she has also been doing a whole lot of work trying to make sure that we get our first Black woman president elected. Pam, we've been talking about this debate, and we've been talking about
Yes.
um, all the craziness. What was your perspective on
So
it?
I knew
Her and Kamala and that
I'm
laugh. That's what we gonna start doing. We go. Somebody ask you something crazy, you just go.
because you want to be measured, right? Because we,
Right.
we all saw her take that pause. I think at one of those moments where she really had kind of just had enough of the foolishness, and in her mind, I'm like, I know what she just called him in her head, but I'm happy she held it together.
I
Um,
tweeted it.
I knew from the moment she walked onto the stage, made him shake her hand, like she went all the way to his podium.
Hold on, hold on, hold
Yes,
on, hold on.
She
I
ma'am.
got, I
shook him.
got, I got, I got, I
Yes.
got it right here. Hold on. Boom. Wait, wait,
Yes.
wait.
Yes.
Where's
Yes,
it at?
Yes.
Hold on. Where's it at? Will it let me do it? I'm trying to see if it'll let me do it. She said, made
please.
him. Hold on. Damn it. I'm trying to pull it, y'all. Ain't nothing working for me tonight. But this is a must see if you didn't. There you go.
Man.
Oh, it won't let me do it. I'll find it another time. It was magical. But
And
go ahead.
yes, she snatched his soul with that handshake. He was done
Nice.
after that. Like seriously, it was just all downhill. And then when she took it to the crowd side, he lost his mind. This man turned all shades of orange
Played
in
right
across
into
the
it.
spectrum.
Or
And
oranger.
he took the
He
bait.
turned
He
oranger.
took the bait. He took the bait. And I so I mean, and I think, yeah, while I know I watched and laughed and got some just, I kiki the whole 90 minutes and I went back and watched the re air of it and kiki some more.
Yep.
Um, but
Master's
in the
class.
seriousness, I mean, a master class of master classes. Like, I know that that debate is going to be taught and used as material in schools. Like,
Oh,
you know, I hope they run it back. I hope
Yeah.
I don't. He's not going to do it because he's scared. But I
No, he
would
better
love to
not.
see them run it back because I know there were things and moments that I would have loved to see her, even expand upon. Because, like, taking away the us being able to laugh at just how she murdered him last
Mm-hmm.
night. I think that
yes.
just the seriousness of it, from my takeaway, is that it's clear she has a plan. It's clear
Yes.
she has put in the work. It's clear that she has gotten the right people around her in terms of her team. It's clear that she has been listening to what voters have been saying,
Mm-hmm.
and she's being really, really, I think, intentional about what she's always promised to do, and that has been really for middle class people. It has
Mm-hmm.
been about very common sense legislation, right? And so I love that she kept hammering that all night long.
Mm-hmm.
Her $50,000 tax credit,
Yeah. What
for
she say? Opportunity
business,
economy.
for business, yes, for business owners,
Mm-hmm. That's
and
awesome.
knowing that Black women are the biggest growing sector in terms of entrepreneurship, but don't
Mm-hmm.
have that capital. Like, that's, again, she is doing things. Even the $25,000 credit for first time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that finally give us and put us in a position for that wealth building that
Yep.
we haven't been able to do, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So, you know, to have Black folks still, you know, I need to hear what she's going to do for Black people, Negroes. That is for us. She don't have to. She
Right.
shouldn't have to come out and say, "This is what I'm doing for Black people." They're going to shut it down if she
Right.
says,
Who?
"This is my
What I'm
Black
saying. What I
agenda."
what I want to know to you, the person that wants her to just lay out specifically what she's gonna do for you. How many other presidents have you asked to do that?
Facts.
Barack Obama.
Facts.
Why? Enough said.
Because he was black.
I mean,
It was just Barack Obama, and it's only because he was black. That's it.
like maybe the whole concept is if you held every other president to the same standard that you hold the black ones, then maybe we would have had. Never mind. Go ahead, Pam. I'm sorry. I'm on one
No, no,
today.
you are
No, but you guys,
100%. You go ahead.
but I feel like other debates, if you go back and watch some of the other debates, they were actually having debates. They were actually like,
Right.
well, I'm going to do this, and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to do this. Well, you can't do that if you don't do this first. And they were actually having conversations because you would have two intelligent people who could speak talking to each other. The
But for the
last few
last 12
times that
Right.
Trump
years,
has
we've
been
had
around,
him. Right.
it's Trump
Right.
who's just out there just slinging cartoon bubbles out. He's
Cartoon
just
bubbles.
Yes.
slinging a cartoon bubble out, and you're like, wait, what did he just
Tyrese,
say?
I'm taking that cartoon bubbles. I'm taking that because
That's
that's
going to make a
literally
good
what
sound
he
bite. That's all he looking
that's
for is sound bites.
Thank
He
yeah, for
girl.
um
sure.
Well, he gave us some last night. I don't think they were the sound bites he was perhaps hoping for because,
agree.
Not at
when he
all.
came out
Right.
with the Haitians are
Not
in Ohio eating, snatching up people's dogs and cats.
That's
I
so
just
crazy.
Man, it's code
and
word
it's
for
racist.
racism,
And the I
period.
will have a plan. I will have a plan once I'm
Once I become
president.
president.
I was like, he
you
said
should
that.
have
He
been
said
had
that
a
out loud.
plan.
He
You
said,
should
Man.
Yeah, he
already
said.
I'm
have a
working on
plan.
it.
Well, that's
I
how it
got a
goes
But
concept
here's
with
of a
the
them.
plan.
That's how it is
right.
across the
I have a
board.
concept.
That's how it
I got a
happens in
I,
corporate
concept.
America. That's how it happens when you just if your skin color allows for you to just do the shit when you get ready,
then you don't have to have a plan. But here's the
Right.
thing, y'all. He has a plan, and it is Project 25.
2020.
I have made
Right.
my way through
Yes.
multiple chapters of that 900 and plus page document, and I've made my way through certain chapters of it, and I started with chapter 14 because that's the chapter that pretty much has everything to do with the work that I do in terms of healthcare and CDC and the FDA and the Department of Health and Human Services. That is his plan is in that.
And what are the things that
CMS,
alarmed
this
you,
the Center
Pam?
for Medicaid Services. So what alarms me about that plan, first of all, is what the Supreme Court did this summer, which was one of the rulings that they actually made lays the groundwork to basically strip federal agencies of their abilities to regulate, right? So if we are talking about big pharma, which is a huge issue, when we're talking about big insurance carriers, right? If we
Which he
take
owns
away
parts of.
this,
Right.
yes,
Which he
very much so. If we take away CMS's ability to negotiate drug prices like they can do now,
What for layman? What is
and they've been able
CMS?
to, so the Centers for Medicaid Services.
Okay.
So if we think about that's our grandpas, papas, aunties, cousins. That's in a lot of lower income individuals and just older individuals get
Okay.
covered under Medicare, Medicaid, right?
Mm.
So if we strip their abilities to regulate drug prices, if we strip their abilities to hold healthcare providers accountable in a real way. Like in Project 25, there's so much language about let's privatize everything and then let's incentivize providers to give care. Okay, but that's been done and it doesn't work, right?
yeah.
Because the incentivization is how much can you pay?
Money.
So
Period.
now
Right.
what you're
And it
exactly.
prices so
So
many
you're
people out.
Yes.
Wow.
100%.
So people
Right.
wouldn't even be able to
100%.
afford the basic health care that they can get now with the Affordable Care Act. It would take all of that stuff away. And when you think about, you
100%.
know, single parent households that could be single for a number of reasons, and I'm speaking of experience because I grew up in a single parent household and I saw my mom having to play the balancing act on what we could and couldn't do as a family unit. When you think about elderly people who are on fixed income, if you take away Medicaid, then
Mm-hmm.
most of them, unfortunately, and I hate to say it harshly, but they will die because they won't be able to afford their medications and then they won't be living.
That's right.
Period.
Life
Right.
saving
Not just
medications.
no,
Yeah.
not
Because if
just
they
our
don't have
elders who
Medicaid,
unfortunately,
they
but
can't
people
afford
with
it.
pre-existing medical conditions, which a large percentage of the black community
Exactly.
already
Yes.
have. You can forget about it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like,
Like people will
All of
die
that
under
goes
this plan.
away.
Literally, they will not be able to afford to live. Like older people, people that, are on disability or whatever the case may be, because you
Yes.
can be at any age on disability. If you don't have that supplemental thing that cuts your medication costs so that you're only paying a fraction of what it is, you will not be living. Especially if it's something
Yeah.
that you need to live. If you're waiting on a kidney transplant or you're waiting on some type, or organ donation or something like that, and
Yeah.
you don't have that private
Yep.
insurance and you're on public insurance, you will
Yeah.
die.
and guess who the
Period.
people are who
Yeah.
cannot afford to live, literally.
Mostly
Yes.
It's
people
They're
of
like
the black
color.
people, him and
98% of the population.
Exactly.
98%
yes.
of the, let's just call a
Exactly.
spade a spade. There's
Right.
not
Hmm.
one thing in Project 25 that caters to anyone outside of the top 1.5 or 2%. There's not
Correct.
one thing in that. If
Absolutely.
you read it, there's just not one thing that, I mean, he wants to get rid of government, he wants to get rid of medical, he
Department
wants
of
to get rid of
Education.
education, he wants to get rid of
FCC, it's crazy to be able to,
everything.
if
Yep.
you speak against him on your
He
YouTube
wants
channel, get
made
shut
in
down.
He wants the
Facts.
handmaid's tale.
He wants to be a
Yes.
dictator.
Yes, he wants to be Vladimir Putin.
So, my
100%. And make
question
no
for
mistake,
you
if he
ladies,
gets back
uh-huh.
Who
in,
he
that's what's
Go
also
ahead.
happening.
What'd
turned
you say,
on in
Pam?
the middle of the debate without knowing it.
But he
He
admitted
got so
all of that,
flustered he
which,
spoke against his friend, and that
yes,
in,
But where is this
Putin is
friendship
not
coming
going for
from?
that.
Like, you really can't be serious. Like, you really can't. Like she said, and she said it in such a way. You are geeked
because like
up
she,
because he is there.
yes,
You geeked up because they geeking you up, making you feel
Mm-hmm.
like you big strong man.
yes,
You big man.
so that they can come along and whoop your ass is what, that's not what she said, but
Come
that's what
have
she
drink
meant
with
when
us.
she was like,
Mm-mm.
he gonna eat you for lunch. She was basically
Yep.
Right.
saying,
She said
you
she.
Eat
keep,
Yep.
you
you know,
Yep.
a, while you're alive. He's
messing
going to
with
eat
Putin, you're
you
gonna
while
find
you're
out.
breathing.
Right. Right. It's
Yes.
Yes.
so what do
Basically.
you say to the undecided voters that clearly watched what was bothering me? Like, I was watching the coverage and they were talking to these undecided voters in this diner or whatever. And what's crazy is that both of the women were like appalled at his perspective on women's rights, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even the man who owned the restaurant was like, I need immigrants because these kids don't want to work. My business needs people who want to work. So I'm not totally
That's
opposed
right.
to immigration, right? But then you're still
Right.
sitting there scratching your head about who you're going to vote for. What are these people waiting for?
It doesn't make any
If I'm being
sense.
on, yeah. If I'm being
It
honest,
doesn't make
so
any
I've been
sense.
volunteering here in Virginia doing some phone banking,
Mm-hmm.
letter writing, door knocking. And the reality is, a lot of these folks, especially those who get on the networks, they're not undecided.
Oh, those are
There was one
plants.
woman last night. They're plants. She voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020, and even after last night's debacle, was like she's going to vote for him again. So I think we need to take
Mm.
some of that with a grain of salt.
Mm,
I think a lot of people have already made up their mind. And I think what we have when you do see people who are saying they are undecided, what they're really meaning to say is, I'm still trying to find a reason not to vote for her, as
mm.
opposed to anything that has to do with Trump. They're looking for any small little thing, like all the people who
So
like,
it's
well,
just
I want to get
yeah.
to know more about her. You know enough about him, and you know
Right.
she is not him,
Sure do.
that should be enough for you to make a decision. And I think people are still wanting to make decisions with their wallets, and they're saying, screw everybody else's wallets and your home and your household and your community. And I still think we have a lot of women who are, I'm talking about them white women because I've been working and talking with them too. And I think a lot of them still are just of this mindset that, you know what, I'm so insulated from any
They so
chaos that's going to
insulated. They are.
continue,
Yep. Because they good
that
either way. They
that
good either
they're,
way.
exactly,
True.
they're
They
good either
good
They're
either
way,
going to
way.
be
Affirmative
you
good
action
know.
was
either
for
way.
them. It wasn't for us. Everybody always talk about affirmative action was for black people. Affirmative action was for white women. That was not for black people. Let's be clear. We
Yes.
benefited from
Expound.
affirmative action,
How
but
so?
so affirmative action initially was for introduced so that more women could go to college and be accepted at schools that were predominantly male school, predominantly male schools. They were predominantly white male schools. So when affirmative action
Hmm.
came into play, while the language did not specify it was for minorities, white women ended up receiving the most benefit because they were able to get into these schools that they weren't
Mm,
able to get into before,
mm.
and more of them enrolled than it was more minorities, men or women, that enrolled. So they
Right.
are the biggest benefactors from affirmative action,
Wow.
not black people.
That's
Yes.
news to
Even
me
if
because
we
I
were
didn't know
to
that.
count and think about in corporate America, where because affirmative action spilled over not just in education, it became something that even employers had to start to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was more white women who we started to see become CEOs and get into the C-suite level of Fortune 500 companies, and yet
Mm-hmm.
here we are, still with black women or women of color representing maybe 1 if 2%, and that maybe being very, very generous in terms of C-suite level executives of Fortune 500 companies. So
Mm-hmm.
they have, there, I will say a positive in terms of some of the work and some of the conversations that I've been able to be a part of. They are having a small reckoning within themselves,
Mm.
that
Yeah.
that
I've been on a few of the
gives
calls.
me,
If they mean what they say on those calls, it could be a powerful thing.
yes, and they are talking to them, which I love. And at the same time, they're acknowledging and saying, hey, look, we have got to stop putting all this shit on the back of black women.
Oh, thank you.
We are the problem. And we can't sit this one out. And they have
Mm.
been putting together talking points for your family members. They've been so I have really appreciated, I think, them taking ownership of
Mm.
how they have basically sold all women
Mm-hmm.
out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for their own safety and their own comfort. And those are
Mm.
words that they've actually,
Yeah.
used. And so I think there is something to, again, it's all going to come down to November, and it's going to come down to what people do when you step into your booth to do your
Yeah.
voting. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have I don't think, I know we have a lot of work to do in our own community.
Mm.
Like, I still don't know if people realize that every seat in the House is up, all 435.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
If by
Vote
some stretch of the
down the
imagination that
ballot.
Trump wins, and,
Blue.
and make no mistake about it, him and these governors, these your election officials in these states, they learned from 2020, and they won't make those same mistakes again. So
Yep.
the number of voters who will have to show up this November are going to need to be astronomical, because we already see what they're doing in Georgia.
Mm.
They're
Yeah.
trying to do the same thing in Arizona. They're trying to do the same thing in Philadelphia. We cannot trust that those same things that held last year will hold this year. And if anything goes to that PAC Supreme Court of his, he could get into the office of the presidency by default of that Supreme Court.
He
If
sure
that
could.
happens, we have to make sure that there is a House and that there is a Senate, especially the Senate. I want people to understand the Senate is the only piece in the legislative body right now that could prohibit him from making drastic changes to the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what he wants to do.
Mm.
So I think it's understanding, you know, how every piece of our government works, and why we make sure that we're turning out not just for what's at the top of the ticket, but we're turning out for everything that is going to be on the ballot, every
Mm-hmm.
ordinance, every county and or city and or district level initiative or proposition or proposal that's on your ballot, your school boards, your county clerks, your district attorneys, your governors. We have to make sure that we are voting up and down the ballot this year.
Period. Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue. Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, what do you say to people who are just so exhausted from
I think
it
I'm
was
frozen up.
crazy. Can you
Mm-mm.
hear me, Pam? You there? Pam, can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. Can you hear me, Lauren?
Yep.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So my question is, what do you say to people who are over it, who feel like, I've heard so many people. Here's Pam again. Okay. All right, there you go. Pam, can you hear me? Can you
Yeah, I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So what I
Sorry
what
about
I
that.
keep hearing, which is like the most frustrating shit ever, right? Is that people are like, "Well, I'm not voting for him because nah, I ain't feeling him, but I ain't voting for her either because I'm not feeling her." So, like, as an adult, you can't make
Hmm.
a decision based on the likelihood of one versus the other. Like, you're so out of the process that you won't read any parts of Project 2025. You're so disconnected from the process that you won't even take the time to listen to any of her policies or any of the things that she wants to do moving forward as president of the United States that would potentially push you over the edge. What do you how do
Right.
you convince people? Can you convince people, or is I mean, what like what? How do you deal with that?
So I I think some people, yes. Like I've had conversations with people, educated people at that,
Yeah.
who again, because they're sensible. Like they really do feel like I've got a valid hesitancy. They really do feel just disenfranchised with this entire political process. And I get it and I understand it. But I think again, when you paint the picture to say, first of all, let's stop calling elections lesser of two evils. Elections are saying this person is for this person is for that, this person is saying they want to do this person is saying they want to do that. And then you figuring out of those two people who either is going to have the most benefit for my life, the least benefit for my life, and then I always like to tell people, and then harm to the greater society. Donald Trump is a harm and
Mm-hmm.
he's a threat to the global
Greater society.
society, let alone here in the United States. And I think specifically for Black people, I, I, I also remind myself that there were plenty of Black people who did not want to be free. There were plenty of Black people who were more than happy
Yes.
to stay in bondage and stay enslaved. They fought
Mm-hmm.
against the Harriet Tubmans.
Comfortable.
They
Comfortable.
fought against our Nat Turners. They were good to just say, "Hey, look, if I can stay in close proximity to massa, I think I'll be all right,"
Be
because
all
Right.
this
right.
is that mindset,
You
and
see
they're
that nigga
not
out there? That
thinking
Well,
was
it's the lesser of all. It's the lesser of all evils
clear.
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I
It's
Yeah,
want
just
to.
easy
yeah,
I
to
want to
and
tell
it's
you, Pam. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing, because not all of us can, not all of us will, not all of us want to.
mm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
but as you're saying, some of us do. But the biggest thing that I notice is that you have the people that are going to vote Republican no matter what. They're going to vote for Trump no matter what. They totally have bought in. You've got the people that are going to vote Democrat no matter what. They're going to vote for Kamala because they love her. They're going to vote for her for whatever their reasons are. And then, of course, we've got the people in the middle. Now, those people in the middle that
mm-hmm,
you are discussing, half of those
mm-hmm,
people know who they're going to vote for, as you said, but they would never tell anyone
mm,
because they don't want the
Right.
right,
conflict. They don't want to have the conversation. They just want to make their vote and they'll just say, oh, I'm undecided, because that's the easy way out of the tough conversation. And then you have the other
mm-hmm,
ones who truly just can't make a decision, not just in this case, but they can't make decisions in life because they fear making the wrong decision. So
mm,
you have
Right.
those people.
exactly,
And then
Yeah.
there's the small
exactly,
portion of people that will make the difference in this election, who just need more information and they want the information to come to them in a way that they can digest it. And those are the
yes,
voters that will make that small difference in the swing,
mm,
the difference between 1,000 votes and 1,050 votes.
Right.
But those are
right,
also the hardest ones to locate because no one else wants to talk about it. So I
right.
think that,
right,
and we have to also get past the electoral college. We could win the popular vote, and we've all
yes.
seen the electoral college will shut us down because they'll vote for whoever they want. So it goes way deeper than just everybody coming out to vote, which can be a little bit discouraging.
Right.
Yes,
If
that's
we
why
went
that
by the
up
popular
and
vote,
down.
Hillary would have been president, and
Yes,
this would have been her second. She would be going out of her second term if we had the popular vote. If we could get rid of the electoral college, but the Republicans don't want to do that because that is
because it
how
weakens
some
their,
of them.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how they stay where they
Yeah,
are.
because
If we could get rid of the electoral
historically
college, that
Republicans
would
have
make a
struggled with the popular vote.
huge
You
difference.
said, well,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
historically, say that again,
Absolutely.
Pam.
Yeah,
Historically.
historically, if you
Historically.
look back, Republicans have struggled. I think it's been maybe two who have won the popular vote in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years maybe.
Mm,
So they want to keep the electoral college because the electoral college also allows for the gerrymandering to continue,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And that is, when you think like, okay, gerrymandering doesn't affect state, it won't affect your presidential vote, but it affects your congressional district votes. It affects
Hmm.
your district attorney votes. So anything that is a locale based type of elected official, the gerrymandering is what works. Like here in Virginia, I used to be in Abigail Spanberger's district. Well, it was the black people in this district who tipped her over, and she took it from a Republican.
mm.
Wow.
They re-rigged and reworked this congressional district, and we now are in the district where that's going to always be a Democratic because it's Southside Richmond, which is majority black people, and you took the handful of black people who are out here in the county and lumped us into that district to make it harder for her to get reelected. That's how gerrymandering works. They really look to see who's coming out. And if we have a candidate who, oh, wow, they're getting the black vote and they're getting the white vote, we need to make sure we can move some stuff around because we don't want that happening. And I think and I love the point being made. We have to educate each other. And I think,
Hmm.
we can get frustrated when we hear people, either say they're undecided or I get frustrated when I see a black person who's saying I'm voting for Donald Trump, and if I hear that $2,000 stimulus check as the rationale
One
one more time,
more time.
I'm gonna I'm gonna snatch these braids out my hair. Because first, he didn't give y'all them checks. He
Voting
didn't.
in the
Congress
electoral
gave you the
college
checks.
will.
Congress has the purse strings, not the president of the United States. Congress controls the purse
That
string.
part.
Yes,
They
they
did it.
do.
People don't understand that part.
Oh
Can
my
we talk
God.
Pam,
about
can you?
this comment in here that
Yeah.
Candy's
Yes,
journey
all of us are reading
Yes.
that.
listed
Yes.
Yes.
about the
Candy's
electoral
journey says,
college?
I don't think he wants, okay, well, there are three. He says,
Hmm.
The Handmaid's Tale is looking more real now than it ever has. We in Canada don't want any parts. And then also says, here, let me see, add it to the broadcast so you guys can read it. I don't think he wants to make drastic changes. I think he wants to get rid of the Constitution entirely. And then
100%.
follows it up with, I don't understand you guys' system. This is Candy's from Canada. Candy from
She's
Canada.
Canada.
Hmm.
I don't understand you guys' system. What is the point of voting if the Electoral College will vote for whoever they want and it is the final word? I don't get it. That kind of goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning of the broadcast. We have evolved to the point where cars are driving themselves. We,
Hmm.
can get from one place to another in a heartbeat. Information is available everywhere. When the Constitution was created,
Hmm.
it was a long, long time ago. And it
Right,
was based
Right.
on what was happening then.
right,
It
And
was based on the population in every area.
right.
Right.
Which in
Exactly. Which is
The
1776
nowhere
electoral
near.
college
was
was
not a
there to
lot.
balance, yeah,
Right.
the
In
dense
Right.
population
1776,
of, let's
when it
say,
was
DC in the
drafted.
South with
Right,
the Midwest and the
Hmm.
North that had much sparsely uh, populated areas. And it was
right.
supposed to
Right.
balance, tip the scales, but the scales right now are heavy everywhere. There's a lot of us. Pam,
yeah.
do you know, can you
Yeah.
tell us who who is the Electoral College? Who predominantly makes up the electoral college, and where are they
So
in the
each
world?
state has what they call electorates, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
If you get connected with your state, so here in Virginia, you're going to have the Virginia Democrats. They're responsible for identifying the delegates for Virginia that are
Okay.
Democrat. Republicans will have their same thing. The delegates come together, right? They do this in the primaries, and then they also, it's those delegates who are looking at the votes coming in. And the way the Constitution is written, they can go with what they see, but in some states, they can also not. Now, typically, and luckily for us, they have gone with however the vote shaked out. The delegates say, okay, that's who we will go and cast our vote for. But it's the delegate or the electoral, the bodies that make up the electoral college are predominantly white, they're predominantly male, because again, we don't engage in the
Are they
political cycle
nonpartisan?
360 365
No,
days a
they're
year,
not.
and that's our problem.
Wow.
Mm-mm. So we
So
have
there's
to
no
figure
balance
out to
there.
no,
Not
there is no
not
balance.
really.
No.
So who? How
We
do
had
you
an
Um,
fix
issue
that
in
issue,
Michigan.
or is that just not a realistic uh a realistically fixable issue? I hear people all the time say
I
we need to
mean,
get rid of the electoral college. Like, how does that
the
happen?
They would have
fixable
to
way to do that,
vote
that
for
requires
it.
a constitution and a constitutional change.
Amendment.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yes, it
And it
requires
would
a
have to be
constitutional
ratified by
amendment.
2/3 of the nation.
Yes.
So if 2/3 don't vote for
Yeah. So
it,
you're
then it
talking
won't
about
be
yes,
ratified
two
and it
thirds of
can't be done.
Congress.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
So
not
two
saying you
thirds
can
have
have
to do it.
yeah, yeah. And they considering that we couldn't get them to strip down the filibuster in the Senate, they're not going to they're not going to touch the electoral process until we can get the right balance of elected officials in the House and in the Senate and in the Supreme
I mean,
Court.
look how long
Like,
it took them to change the Constitution just to give women the right to vote.
Yeah.
Look how long that took.
but
Right.
exactly. And thinking about women, right? So the Republicans for the last 50 years have been attacking Roe v. Wade. And they've that along with the Voting Rights Acts and the Civil Rights Acts, those have been the two pieces of legislation that the Republican parties for decades have always been, the voting rights, they've just been chipping away at it slowly. And again, because we don't vote year round, we don't we don't go into our congressional leaders' offices. They need to see, we get mad to say, okay, well, I don't know what you're going to do for black people. Well, they don't know what to do for you because you're not talking to them.
Man,
Right.
listen.
They
Yeah.
can't
I be
set
looking.
policies that are going
Yeah.
to help you if you are not telling them what the fuck is wrong
People don't even come to their own
and
Right.
city
what you
council
need.
meetings in their neighborhoods. How do you expect?
Right.
You
Thank
understand?
you.
They're on YouTube. I be
Right.
on YouTube on my city council meetings. I'm like, it's five people on here. It's
Right.
like, don't y'all want to know what's going
Right.
on?
Yes, or
It's
your school
crazy.
board, or
Or scoop right.
you mad because they done put up, they done tore down a community center, they done tore down a grocery store, they done leveled a whole shopping center that you
Yeah.
needed to put up apartments that you can't afford to live in. They cannot just do that shit without going through getting permits, city ordinance. There's some meetings and
Right.
conversations. But when nobody shows up to say, we don't want that shit, or if you do it, it needs to be 50% black owned businesses. It needs to be like, we,
Or
I think
50%
where I
low
get
income
frustrated is,
housing or something like that.
yes,
Yeah.
we,
You have to
It's
vote in
very
the
we the
midterm
frustrating.
leaders,
elections too. Like you can't just vote for
yes,
the president. You got to vote in the midterm elections because those matter
yes.
as well. All the
I'm
elections
going to tell
matter.
you, they
The
matter.
crazy part is
I would
everything
argue that
should
they
be
matter
50
more.
50.
Go ahead.
The
Right.
Senate should be
Let
50
Tyree,
Democrat.
let Pam make this point real
Oh,
quick,
sorry.
and then keep that
I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, here's the thing, those local elections matter more
Hmm.
More.
because
Yeah.
the more because think about it. States have their own budgets. Cities and counties have their budgets. When they're trying to decide where they're putting funding, where they're putting money, which schools are going to get, the newest and latest and greatest in
Which
technology, which
roads are
schools
getting
are going to
fixed?
be exactly. They are looking to say, what are we hearing from our constituents? I know people may not think that, but they do. The problem is they're hearing from white constituents and they're not hearing enough
From
from black
Black.
and brown constituents in a way that holds them accountable so that they know you better get this shit right because you got two, whatever your term is here, we have the ability to say, hey, look, you're not going to be able to do this job. And I think we have to realize our elected officials, we have to stop giving up our power.
Mm-hmm.
Elected officials are like,
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned, they're like any other job. But in unlike where you working and you can't fire your boss who's a dirtbag, right? An elected official who's a dirtbag and not doing a
Will
job or
not get
doing
your vote.
foul, shady stuff, exactly. That's when you say, you're not getting my vote, and I'm gonna
That's
give
it.
this other
Right.
person a
Right.
chance. You don't just say, I'm just gonna sit this shit out because y'all all are bad. Look, we gave you a run, you didn't work, you up, but you screw up. You see what we did to this person? You next.
Yeah.
Like, get it right. You are here for the people, and make no mistake about it. We are the people.
Period. And Tyree, so you said 50-50 Senate. What was your point you were about to make there?
I'm saying the Electoral College, the
Mm-hmm.
Senate, the the I'm blacking out right now.
Congress.
All of our
Mm-hmm.
Congress, yes, Congress should be half Democrat, half Republican. It shouldn't be that we're able to vote in and the president's able to just place 90% of the Senate is Republican and then, you know, 10% Democrat or vice versa. Do you guys agree with me? Is that not,
100%.
am I being,
Well, it's
It just
I feel
makes
always
all the
like,
sense in the
I
world. And
feel
then
like
allow
if
them
we're,
to
if
lean
we're,
moderate, in either
Mod-
direction
right,
to get it
so
right.
done.
part
Or,
of
and
the
leave that
issue.
10% for the independents and everything else. But I just feel like it has to be equal. There has to be, we don't have a parent,
Equality
which
is
is what
too
they're
much
supposed
like
to be.
Right.
rights in every area of this
Yeah.
nation. Equality fixes
Yes.
every
Right.
fucking problem.
Right.
Excuse me. I gotta be careful because
Yes.
YouTube don't like me to cuss.
No.
Um,
No.
Candy's Journey
You so
said,
right.
"Oh, thank you for the explanation." On the electoral, you guys, we have a cash app. We have a cash app, and it is fight for worth, and I'm plugging it because guess what? If you want this content to continue to come, I think there's really valuable information in all of these conversations that we have, and we like to elevate the conversation a little bit so we're not just talking about sexy bed in them, and talk about things that we really need to be aware of. So I want to say, Pam, I believe it was you who made this point about,
Mhm.
you know, if a person does not deliver in their term, then you always can withhold your vote, right? So I guess my question for people who are just so convinced that Kamala Harris has done all these terrible, god awful things to black men, which is so incorrect. And I have to
Yes.
speak
Right.
from the
It's false.
perspective of being lied about. It goes to
Right.
that whole, like, if you hear shit over and over and over again, people start to
Yeah.
believe it, right? And
Yeah.
I've seen, not to turn this into making this about me, but I have to speak from my experiences,
No,
and it
but
ain't just
yeah.
about me. We sit back
Yeah.
and we look at R&B divas. Let's just talk about
Mm-hmm.
R&B divas real quick. Every woman that I've talked to date, on the Diary of a Diva recap of what happened during R&B divas, every one of them
Mm-hmm.
has said in one way or another that there was a lot of manipulation and lies and deceits and misinformation campaigns and all sorts of shit that wasn't really real and true, right?
Right.
And
Right.
for some reason, people still refuse to believe that people were
Yeah.
manipulated. Now, I'm grateful for the Funky Geneva interview because that has given me an opportunity to like redeem myself in the eyes of some people, right? But for some
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
reason, people want to just run with this narrative that just was not the fucking truth. It was a lie. It
Right.
wasn't true. And they're doing the
Right.
same thing with Kamala Harris. And it's just,
Mhm.
what is it about us that, and that's my dog snoring, y'all. Forgive. But what is it about us that refuses? I don't know. I'm gonna mute because I think somebody's clicking. That refuses to accept that something is not true about somebody, especially when it is
Mhm.
detrimental to like the development and the progress of this country. Like we are
Right.
prepared to like completely, you know, take away the opportunity for there to be, number one, the
Right.
first time in the history of this country, a female woman leader. You trust your
Right.
mama, your grandmama, your wife, your the corp the C-suite executive that's running your company, the people who are running
Right.
your nonprofits, all of these black women that are just running shit and just making it
Right.
happen. And the highest office of the land, the CEO of the United States of America, it is so painfully obvious and clear
Right.
that that woman has her shit together. It is so
Yes.
painfully obvious and clear that that woman is not only someone who is highly intelligent, but also has worked in law enforcement, knows law,
Mhm.
knows every area,
Mhm.
knows how to talk to bullies,
Yes. Yes.
understands all of the like hyper masculine shit that just because she's beautiful and a woman,
Right.
you refuse to accept that she understands. But like she said, we're gonna have the most lethal military there ever was. She talking
Right.
heavy, big girl talk. But
Yes.
for some reason, you
Yeah.
still want to reduce her to someone who is frail and she's been hard on black men. How do we rectify that? Like how do we make that, how do we change that, or do we just say fuck it? If you're not coming, the train is going.
Again, it's personal opinion. Just what we were talking
Yes.
about earlier. People have opinions. What's your favorite color, Nikki?
I don't have one.
And that's interesting because I don't either. But Pam, what's your
Mm.
favorite color?
Blue.
Lauren, what's your
I
favorite
love
color?
blue.
Lauren? Is Lauren gone?
Or did we
Lauren,
get?
can you
Oh.
hear
No.
us? Lauren,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. My favorite
What's
color
your
is
favorite
blue
color?
as well. Blue.
I guess I
Oh, well,
should say
that doesn't
royal blue.
help.
Eep.
But if you what my point is, if you have someone whose favorite color is orange and another person whose favorite color is green, how do you get them to switch their favorite colors? Through a conversation? You don't, because it's opinion. It's it's hard to change opinion, which is
Yeah.
why we're always taught don't talk about religion and politics.
Right.
Because
There's
I
also
think,
some
you know,
conditioning too.
I want to add. I
There's
just want
a
to
there's
lot of
address.
there's
conditioning.
conditioning happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of the thing is, especially when now that all of this stuff has come out about Kamala Harris' record of her being a prosecutor, and that the number is really, really low of actually how many people she sent to prison. I think people would rather believe the lie about her than to receive the truth. Because if you believe the lie, then it's easy to say, I don't like her because she did XYZ. So I'm going to vote for the other guy, even though I know he's a piece of sugar honey iced tea.
Do people understand these are our real actual lives? Fuck all that. I got an opinion. The color is blue. The color is orange. The color is green. The color is going to be chains and ball and chains in a minute.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
we really are that close to just losing all. They have taken away a woman's right to decide what to do with her body.
Yes. And women are dying.
And women are
Women are
dying because
dying.
of doctors are afraid that they're going to go to jail for
Because in
helping
Yes.
some
people
states,
who are
they are
bleeding
I'm
sending
not
out.
them
even
to
sure
jail.
what they
Do you
gain.
understand how this is not the one. I'm sorry y'all, I'm on one today. This is not the
No.
one for you to sit your ass out and pretend like everything's going to be okay on November 9th.
Yeah.
It's
Some
definitely
of it,
not.
like if we think about, so for Black people specifically, I can't really speak to white. Well, I can speak to them too. So if we think about Black and white, the psychologies of Black and white people. Well, I'm going to say white people, European, and not and melanated people, right? There is a historical, and by historical I mean from the dawn of civilization in Africa, because that's where all this shit started. From then till now, white Europeans manage, typically through violence, to start to control the narratives about melanated people.
Mm. Preach.
And that has continued. And so what happened, and I know, I hope people really understand, there is shit baked in our DNA that's going to take generations to remove. And I'm
Man.
not talking about like
Yes,
biblical
ma'am.
generational curses.
Man.
I am talking about the literal physiological changes in our DNA and in our brain structures. So like Nikki, you were mentioning like, well, what is it about, people like believing the lies? There's shit that's turned on into individuals' brains and it's shit that's turned off. To those people who, I don't even want to lift a finger to click on something to see is this true. So I'm just going to go with whatever that headline is and retweet it, repost it, or say some shit about it,
Right,
and you didn't really read the article. Or you read
right,
the article, but you don't continue to do research, right? It's some shit in your brain that is good with that. It was that dopamine receptor was fed and you moved the fuck on.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And we have got to start to unpack that as a people, right? As a community. I think we have to realize that there is some roles that we have played in perpetuating that.
Mm-hmm.
If we think about the fact that, I don't care, let's say she did lock up all these thousands of people. If you committed the fucking crime, why wouldn't she lock you up?
Mm.
Also,
Well,
I don't see I don't see y'all turning around and voting out the there are DAs all across the states, all across these major cities and whatnot. They locking
mm-hmm.
y'all up in record
Mm-hmm.
numbers. They're
Mm-hmm.
not holding their officers accountable, but you coming after this woman because she has the audacity to seek this highest office in our country.
That's
And
crazy.
a
Can more
lot of
than
Right.
that again, and
That's
it
so
comes
that's a
And
form
to,
of
mind you, the
self-hate.
most
That's
qualified
really a form of
on paper.
self-hate.
mm-hmm.
it is, but they taught us to self-hate. I don't think Black people understand. We play into the white man's hands more often than not. It
Yep.
is
Divide
not
and
them
conquer.
doing shit
Yep.
to us.
Yep.
It's us doing it to ourselves because they taught us to hate the skin that we're in.
Yep.
They taught Black men to hate Black women. They taught Black women to hate other Black women,
Yep.
right? They taught
400
white
years.
women to hate Black women because they were like, oh, that Black woman is the Jezebel, and that's the reason that your
Yep.
husband, aka
Yep.
slave master, was slipping into the quarters. It's because she's
Yep.
just so hypersexualized he couldn't help himself. So
Yep.
you need to be mad
Right,
at her, but still let her raise your kids. Still
Yep.
let her
Wet
breastfeed
nurses.
your babies when we done
Yep.
snatched her babies from her, right? That is ingrained in each and every person, especially here in this country, but it's also in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there
yeah.
are Mexico has a female president.
Yep. We behind the
There
ball.
are
We're the
We're
only
way
ones.
behind the ball. There are third
We're the
world
only ones.
There's
countries.
female ministers. Yeah.
Yes, men exactly.
What are
Like
they
in
called?
Prime
Africa, there are
ministers.
Like
female
in
Premiers.
Europe.
Prime.
ministers.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly, prime ministers. But here we
That
are in
prime minister.
2024 and having her put on a show. You know what was really funny, me and my husband were talking about it last night, and he was like, if she was a white man,
Mm-hmm.
this shit wouldn't even be close.
Yep.
And I'm
Not
Not
like, you
even,
even
know what, hon,
close.
Yep.
not
you're
even a
right.
little bit.
And I'm not even talking about a qualified white man,
Yeah.
any white man.
Yeah.
Just a white man. Just a white man. They got
Yeah.
common sense. A common sense
Absolutely.
white man.
And it's, what it's just what I really don't understand. Like I get that we have like the gender wars going on between black men and black women. But what blows my mind is all of these women of color who feel like they want to step up and just be different or
Mhm.
acquiesce to the bullshit. But like,
Yeah.
what world do we live in when you see that there is a well qualified female candidate for the first time in almost 300 years that can actually
Mhm.
change the trajectory of the country in a positive way because she has the intellect, she has the experience on the job, she has the compassion, she has the
Mhm.
background to relate to
Mhm.
far more people than the
Mm-hmm.
old, aging, tired,
Narcissistic.
forgetful, narcissistic. And what's really
Yep.
crazy is the way she laid the bait out and he went right in for it. And
He
I'm like
took
Yeah.
thinking to
every
myself, do you
time he took
see
it.
how she you see how she played that shit so smooth, like wop wop, and that side
Yes.
eye was a 10 out of 10. That side eye was a
Girl.
10 out of 10. Like you big, like
She
The
almost
the
called him. She almost called him a MFer last
she
night.
sure
She
did.
almost.
She
oh,
sure
She
did.
she
almost
did.
did.
And
She
did.
with the
paused.
A, not an
She
ER, with a
paused.
hard
Yeah.
A. And
Yeah.
you know what's interesting? What's really crazy? What's really crazy to me is if she had, then she
Mhm.
might have
Oh.
potentially gotten a whole lot of folks in her corner because I know this sounds a little ridiculous. And the thing is she has to walk the fine line. But if he
It's the
had
yeah.
said it,
Right.
imagine if he said it. If he said it, it would
Mhm.
have been woo, 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 hoorah, yeah. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear it? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
She said it, she
Yep.
would have immediately got the angry black woman trope. But we heard it
Yeah.
Oh, for
without her
sure.
having to speak it. So
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
we know what the
And I
energy
think that's
was.
what she is again, because she's a black
She got
woman.
to walk the chalk
She
line.
she
Mm-hmm.
does, and that shit is unfair. And again, until we change some things, every black woman has to toe that line. We got to find and strike that balance. And that
Yeah.
shit sucks. I'm raising daughters, and I hate
Yeah.
having to have those conversations. But the
Yeah.
reality of it is that until we
You gotta
change
walk
it,
soft,
and here's
honey.
here's
Demure and
how we can
dainty.
go. Thank
Right.
you. But until we change it, here we got to move. But here is how you move to change. I think people have to understand. I can toe this line right now, but trust and believe. I'm doing some shit on the back end to
Uh-huh.
make sure that this is gonna change. Even if it's
Yeah.
incremental change,
Yeah.
I'm not just going to be okay with this status quo. But I love last night that she stared that motherfucker down. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
look. He wouldn't even make eye contact with her.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that she kept
Mm-hmm.
her smile and that she kept her joy.
Her
For
levity.
the
Yep.
real for the real Christians out there, I ain't talking about you fake ass Christians. I'm talking about you real
Oh,
Christian folks.
Right.
oh.
Motherfucker.
It's some fake ones out there. That's why I'm saying use the fake ass ones. But to my real ones, okay?
Mm.
I think you need to understand how the power and energy in which she is moving, right?
Yeah.
Go check and read some scriptures about those who and
Yeah.
are walking in joy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Go and read some
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
scriptures about
Good
those
one,
who are
Pam.
walking in truth,
Good one.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
He lie like he breathed.
Mm-hmm.
There is no power in that. We need to also, I think, again, not to get religious on folks up in here, but we need
But
to understand that what is happening in her fit is some shit happening in the spiritual that y'all
yeah.
better be paying attention to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we
Oh
need to,
yeah.
again, we need to
Oh
make
yeah.
sure that we are not getting so distracted. They
Yeah.
want us to, as black people to debate her blackness. They want us as black women, to your point, Nikki, they want black women to, like you said, for either trying to get your likes up or because you scared.
Yeah.
You don't really believe that this country is ready. And what you do is you're basically saying, okay, well, even if they're not ready, I refuse to make you get ready. That's
Yeah.
like having a kid who you struggling right now with multiplication. So I'm just
Yes.
gonna let you not practice your multiplication.
Yes.
No, we're gonna practice this multiplication because you're gonna need that skill set later on. Like
Yeah.
they're happy to let us keep having those debates. They're happy to keep having your Ice Cube and your Jesus, all these other people who have
Tyrese,
platforms and
sit
are just
down, bruh. Take a break. I love you, but
misusing them. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't have no problem calling y'all out because again,
yeah.
until I see y'all motherfuckers walking Capitol Hill like I do,
Come on, Pam.
until I see you firing off
And serve
emails
this
to
country in the
staffers
military. Woo woo.
and that
Hello.
part and that part, and shout out to, it's 9/11 today, so again, shout out to all the folks who lived through that, all the soldiers, all the veterans, all the family folks who lost folks both in 9/11 and those who lost people after 9/11 when we were fighting for this country.
Yes.
um but so yeah, so I feel when I see, like, I am coming from a place of, I'm not saying this and not doing it.
Yes.
Like again,
Say
I
it.
vote
Do
every
it.
election. Girl, see, I can't sing, but yes,
She said, I'm
what
saying this
she
and not doing it.
said.
I'm like, yeah, that's my cue.
But it's what you said. Like, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, if I don't see you, like, and I know we ain't a Taylor Swift crowd, or maybe some of us are. I'm
Oh,
not.
we Taylor Swift.
Um,
Honey, we team Taylor Swift today. Baby,
right now.
so
call me a Swifty or whatever they call
right, yeah,
them.
exactly. You say for the day, till
Well, look,
November
for the
5th,
election
you
until,
know.
listen, Taylor all right with us at this point.
Yeah, I don't have any, I don't have
Taylor
any
can
issues
come
with that.
to
She
the
And
still
I
barbecue.
can't come
do.
to the.
Yes, she
She
No,
can.
cannot come to the barbecue.
She can
She
come to the
apologized for that
cookout.
rendition of Earth, Wind, and
I,
Fire,
I,
of that rendition of September.
yeah,
She got to
I
apologize.
can't
All of
Taylor
you
say
is
guys
it's
are
invited.
her
Taylor,
digressing.
you
fault.
can come to my cookout
All of
anytime,
you are
honey.
digressing.
Okay, I'm just saying we need
But oh, I'm
Taylor and
sorry.
all the
Here's
kings and the
here's
Swifties.
here's the thought I wanted to tie
Everyone should be able to
to,
go to the cookout.
even what we're talking, like, in this conversations that everyone has been having today, especially about like Taylor Swift, right? I think it's also important to, at the same time that we want to commend her for what she's doing and how she's using her platform, I think we also need to make sure we're thinking of holding everyone who has a platform to that same level of accountability, right?
Mm,
So
That's right.
that's I didn't mean to kind of like digress to the cookouts, but I think, yes, that's one of the things that I can, definitely give her kudos for. Because like I even, commented, like, her friend, Miss Mahomes, she has come for people for a whole lot less on her social media platform, and she's got a nice following thanks to her husband. Um, the fact
Who?
that
Who is this?
So
Patrick
Brittany
Mahomes'
Mahomes, she's
wife.
Patrick Mahomes' wife. Her
Oh,
and
okay.
Taylor Swift are like besties, and the whole
Okay.
nine. And she's been a person who has liked and even reshared some stuff that Trump has said, or
Yes, she
pundits
has.
of Trump have said.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what I pointed out today was, I think, yes, and I'm glad a good friend of mine, Aaron White Lady, was holding them accountable. We can applaud Taylor Swift for what she's doing, and we can also say, but you got a friend that you need to be checking, because
Mm-hmm.
that chick has come on social media and come for people because they talked about how she looked, or come on social media because people, again, over senseless stuff that she apparently took to heart, and she had to set the record straight and let the people know and clap back. Okay, well, you have Donald Trump saying, y'all, he good, he like you, you on his team, you riding with him. The fact that I've heard crickets from her
But
saying something.
you know what I will say about that though, Pam. I can agree on one level, but also I think that that's if Taylor Swift were to publicly, because we don't know that she hasn't done it privately, and you know what I mean, because we all know somebody like Tyree, you were just talking about with your parents. You know what I mean? We all
Yeah.
know somebody who is MAGA. And we
Yeah.
talked about that on She Speaks Live in terms of relationships, family members, friends, you know what I mean? And I think at the level of Taylor Swift, if the fact that Taylor Swift has publicly come out and endorsed VP Harris for president is not enough to change her friend's perspective, then Taylor should just let her friend on over there And whether or not it changes their dynamic, but I think if she like
Hmm.
were to publicly reprimand her or something like that, then it would be like, did you see what Taylor Swift did about, and it would be less about her supporting
Yeah, I can see that.
VP Harris and more about her checking her friend. I'm just like, at
Right.
this point, that's why I
Yeah,
was like, do
right.
we even waste time convincing people that are convinced that they're going to support Donald Trump, trying to change their
No.
minds? Or do we put all of that energy into our kids who don't vote, the youth who don't really vote, the people who are undecided? I do feel like that is far more productive for us than
Yeah.
us trying to convince people who have already got, because honestly, I think that it's just futile.
It
It
is.
People
is,
have
and you're
made
right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Anybody who is telling you,
at
I'm
this point,
convinced, come hell or high
you still
water,
support.
exactly.
Right.
Then it's not. But like you said, it's the young people. The increase in the number of Black young women who have registered to vote since VP Harris got the nomination, the number of just young voters in general.
Hmm.
I do. I think that is where it lies because, again, we know that civics and government 101, those are things that aren't being taught. So if we
Yeah.
can start to lay those seeds, they become that next crop of delegates that are a
Hmm.
part of our electoral college.
And think
They
about it, what it means for
become,
you. If you decide one
yes,
day to become president, think about it from that perspective, or your daughter.
Right.
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 Yeah. So, no, you're,
You
you're
you coming
absolutely
out of
correct.
here,
That's
Tyree?
where
You
our
gotta
energy
go.
go.
All
Yeah, you
right,
guys,
honey.
I've loved the
Love
conversation.
you.
I have
It's
to
a good. We're gonna
go,
wrap up in a minute. All
but
right. Kiss my babies.
it's been amazing. Pam, you're
Yay.
amazing. Lauren, amazing. I love you,
Bye,
All
Nikki.
right. We'll see you next
Tyree.
time. Bye. So you were saying, Pam, I'm sorry about that.
No, no, you're good. No, I'm just saying I think you're right. That is where our energies need to be and need to focus on. It is it's this next generation. It is younger people, and I think it is the people who they want to have a conversation with you about what's really going on and what the issues really are. And
Mm,
maybe they're not going to go to Google and see what her platform is. Maybe they're not going to go to her website and see that she actually has a whole policy section now on her website. But if you're willing to have that conversation with me, then yeah, I can talk to you. But I
yeah,
think, yeah, to a diehard Republican or to just a diehard, person who is just saying, look, come hell or high water, I'm gonna vote for Trump. I don't care if he murdered people on his way to the cold. I don't care
that's
how many
crazy.
felonies, he commits. Um, then yeah, those people are at this point a lost cause,
Mm.
and um, they're not worth your time or your energy. And I can tell you right now, protecting our mental peace during this time
Ooh,
is really, really,
Ooh,
really important.
ooh,
You
preach.
know,
Preach.
don't don't let them take that from us. And
yeah,
I think,
Hmm.
yeah, so it's picking and choosing when I'm phone banking or if I'm supporting doing some door knocking. I know after a couple minutes, okay, thank you so much, appreciate you, have a good day. I because I again, because
yeah.
unlike the VP last night, I will call you a motherfucker. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like I
right,
let all that
right.
out through all this.
You ain't gonna get it telepathically. You gonna get it articulate and straightforward and in your ear in every way.
Yes.
This conversation is awesome. I'm so grateful, Pam. Lauren, Tyree, smart friends who know a whole lot more about this shit than I do. But, I like to use my platform to become educated and to hopefully share some inspiration and education with other people. We got a bunch of folks looking at us on X right now. Thank you, Twitter. I see y'all. Hi, all of y'all. Half of them probably work for Lionsgate or Stars trying to find out when I'm going to talk about that. I'm saving that for this weekend. Oh, but it's a whole thing. It's gonna be a whole conversation with pictures and all kind of shit. Because speaking of diversity, equity, and inclusion, they have
Hmm.
just convinced the world that they're the number
Right.
one in diversity, equity, and inclusion and equality, and they do more for the Black community than anybody else. While we got shows on TV where we
Mm,
got mamas showing babies how to cook crack and
mm,
chicks how to slide down poles. We're gonna talk about all
mm.
that this weekend. It's gonna be good, hot, and heavy. But it's
Yep.
important for us to unpack this amazing debate. It's clear that the
Yes.
front runner in this election and the winner of the debate has the best makeup
Mm-hmm.
artist for sure. Um,
Nah.
Yes.
did you peep that?
Ah.
Yes. The best
Baby,
press and
honey, you
like,
need a
come on
different
now.
concealer, sir. But
Mm.
I I I hope that people blend and contour. I hope that people understand how important it is for us to be involved in this process because
Yes.
I just don't think that there is any other choice but
No.
Vice President Kamala Harris for President of the United States. And I think that if
And
you,
people,
mhm.
check your registration status.
Oh,
I
okay,
want to say that. Check
yes.
your registration status
Is it too
and
late,
check it.
Pam?
So
No,
no, it is no, it is
Okay,
not
not. It is not too late.
okay,
not too
The
late.
majority of places and states will, registration closes 30 days or more. And it's a couple who is 15, but it's not a whole lot of those states. But no, you
okay.
still have time to register. It is better for you to go to your county clerks for those of you who can and register in person. But if you register online, just make sure that you track it, that it's accepted, and then once it's accepted and you can go and you check it and you're all good, keep checking it. They
Mm,
will be purging rolls up and unto November. So please make sure that you don't just say like, oh, I've always been a registered voter and you good. But please know that on the day of, there are a couple, a handful of states that also allow you to register on the date of the election as well. It's not a lot of them. And Nikki, I'll work. I've got some graphics that I can
that we can
send and
post.
you
Okay,
can
great.
that
That
we
would be
can
awesome.
Working on it.
post.
Allie's working on that. Allie's working on that already.
Oh,
Teamwork, make the
perfect.
dream
Well,
work.
good. Awesome. So
Allie's
we'll share
working on
ours
that.
and yeah, so we can share ours and not the other people's that I have.
Yes.
So, but yeah, please make sure that you are registered and take somebody with you. Take your 18-year-old who this is their first time to be able to vote in this historic election. I think for all the bad things, all the idiocracy with Trump
Mhm.
and that
Mhm.
idiot running mate of his. I think again we also just have to take a moment, especially as Black people, just to witness what we are witnessing right now. To be take a minute and a pause to be proud. Take a minute to think about, Fannie Lou Hamer. Think about Shirley Chisholm. Like think about the Black women that, VP Harris is standing on their shoulders right now,
Absolutely.
and let's honor that. Let's let that breathe and let that marinate,
Yep.
out in the atmosphere and in the universe,
Yes.
and not give so much attention to the foolishness that they got going on over there on that other side.
Yeah, it's a mess. And so, Pam, is it better to? So there were some questions about whether or not early voting was better. You know, I mean, I guess whenever you decide to go, it's great as long as you go and vote
It's
blue. But is there a
it is,
specific
yeah.
time that is better than the other?
So early voting is good
Okay.
because on election day is typically when you're going to have not only in addition to just long lines, and I can anticipate really really long lines this election cycle because
Mm-hmm.
his folks
Them
is coming
Barack, we
out
need
and
those
her
Barack
folks.
Obama lines, y'all.
We're gonna have those this year. I
Yeah,
believe that and then
we are.
some. So I think day of voting is going to be an all day kind of affair.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also, again, I think that's when you kind of see you're going to see some voter intimidation. I think at our polling places this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the best way to kind of avoid that is to early vote, and you can know before anybody else on November 5th that your ballot has been there and it's been accepted. Now, in most places, they don't do any counting of the votes until election day.
Okay.
Right.
But if you vote early, you will be able to see it's been accepted. There were no issues with your ballot, because that's the other thing too. If you wait till the day of, and for whatever reason they're saying it's an issue with your voter registration, it's an issue with your ballot.
You don't have time
So
to fix it, right?
save your yeah exactly save. Well, no, they have to, and please know people if you are in that line before the polling place close. I don't care how many issues they find with your ballot, with your voter registration. Do not leave.
Okay.
Right.
If you
Stay in line.
don't leave, you
Stay in
stay
line.
in line and you stay at that polling place until they get your ballot rectified and until they count your ballot. I'm telling you, they're
Mhm.
going to be trying to turn people away for some foolishness, and don't fall for that, family. And
Mm-hmm.
as long as you are in line, I don't care how long that line is. If the polls close at 8 o'clock, but you were in line at 7:59, and you ain't voted till 10 o'clock at night because the line was that long, they must count your vote.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. They must count your vote. And like our forever First Lady Michelle Obama said, do something. And the do something is to vote not just the top of the ballot, but
Yes.
all the way down because we see what's happening out here with these
Mm,
judges and Supreme Courts and all kinds of other stuff. So there's that.
Right.
yes.
Pam, Lauren, this has been amazing. I tried to keep it under an hour. I cursed myself by saying this ain't gonna be long, but the information was priceless. I'm really shocked. Hi, X. Hello, everyone on X. Thank y'all for watching us live. We got a nice little crowd over there on X. I really appreciate it. YouTube, be
Love
sure to
it.
press like, share, and subscribe. Our Cash App is real easy. Fight
Mm-hmm.
the number dollar sign fight the number 4 and Worth. We got some great stuff coming to Worth. Another big episode of Diary of a Diva. Go watch the one with Latavia now. And of course, if you go to
Mm-hmm.
worthtv.com and subscribe, you can watch from the bottom up. You can watch our shorts. You can watch all sorts of great content on that platform that is for us by us. I appreciate
Yes.
y'all. I put everybody's handles in there at Pamela underscore Price and Goldine, or is it Golden E?
It's Golden E.
It's Golden E.
Mm.
Okay. It's Golden E. Golden E 1704. You guys make sure y'all follow them. We got some stuff to do in preparation for our next big episodes on Diary of a Diva and She Speaks Live, which is coming up. Whoop whoop. This Eric Monty interview you do not want to miss. I got a couple of other really big ones that are coming that are fantastic, and we're going to continue this dialogue about politics until we elect the first ever woman president, who just happens to be black, BIPOC,
Yes.
Yes.
biracial,
Go
whatever you
to
want to call it.
vote. Go to vote.org. If you go
Mm-hmm.
to vote,
Vote.org.
vote, vote.org, you can check your registration. Even if you do want to still go do it in person, you can check your registration. You can check your specific state to see when is the last day to register in person,
Right.
online, or by mail in. You can also check what's on your local ballot all the way down to your city or municipal, whichever you are,
Yes.
because they're different in different places. You can check your ballot and see what's on your specific ballot. You just have to put in the plugs to, so they can get you to your ballot. But vote.org
Mm-hmm.
is a nonpartisan website. So they have all the information on there for voting, and they have a counter, and we are 52 days away, 54 days,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, away from the election. So vote.org. Go to that site.
Pam, you want to lead the people with anything before we get out of here?
Nah, Lauren had it. That was it.
Lauren had
Register, vote,
it.
check your status. Yes. Get informed, stay informed.
Yep,
Yes.
and not voting sometimes ends up being a vote for somebody, and nine
It
times out
is.
of ten, it's not the one we want.
Right.
And
So
independents are not gonna win. Please don't go in there on November 5th and waste your vote on an independent.
I just don't know
Just
what y'all
don't
trying to prove with this shit. I
fight
just don't
fight the
know.
urge to do
Well,
it.
we should be more than a two-party system because most countries are more than a two-party system, but that is a whole nother discussion for another day.
We should be more than a
Yes.
two-party system, but once again, and everybody should be able to pick who they want, and everybody should be able to ask questions and all that other stuff. But we are
Mm-hmm.
52, did you say, days away from the election?
54.
And there are
Yep.
254,
54.
54
54.
days away from the election, and there are two candidates. Two. And one of them has already taken away your right to choose.
Yes.
And Project
This one's too
2025 is
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is just too important.
the
I
man
and I
said you
think
only
it's
have to
under
vote this one last time and then you don't have to vote no more. And he said he likes dictators.
He said
yes,
that several times
multiple times. And he's been saying that for
for a
quite some
while.
time. He wants to get rid of generals. If anybody is working in the federal government and you disagree with him, he gonna get rid of y'all.
Yep.
If you on the radio
Again,
and you say something he don't like, or like we just said on our YouTube
you're
channel,
you're
our
Peace
you're,
out.
you're
perspective, he gonna make sure that that's shut
yes,
down.
Peace
you're
out.
gone.
Y'all all
Freedom of
gonna get
speech
the
is over.
boot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, so this one is too important. And I think again, we also, if we think strategically, like I found it very interesting of the states that they allowed after first saying they were not going to allow Cornel West to be on the ballot. And it happened in a lot of the states where they know it's probably going to be some black people turning out.
Hmm.
I need us to be smarter, family. Again, I don't want to tell anybody
Why is he
who to
doing?
vote for.
That's a whole conversation. Like I just
That's
Yeah,
another
that was a
conversation
yeah,
for another
listen.
day.
I am tired
Because
of.
yeah,
I'm not. I don't mean to be offensive, but it's gonna come off offensive. At a certain age, you just need to sit down and relax.
Trump,
yeah.
Not just him.
Thank you.
What is Cornel West doing?
yeah, he pushed it.
Yeah,
He's
What
pushing
is what
80.
is a lot of these judges? It's a judge that's 96 years old. What is she
yeah,
doing?
Have a
yeah,
seat, ma'am.
That's
Be
why
retired.
retirement age is 55, 65. Maybe some people stick around to 70. But when you start hitting 75, 77, 80, just hang out with your grandkids or plant some flowers or I don't know, give to
yes.
some worthy causes. Ask God for forgiveness because he's coming
Come,
soon with something.
thank you.
But don't be
Anything
trying to
and other
run
than what they
countries
run
that
around
you
doing
don't know.
now.
Not if you looking at your phone like this, talking about now how I get on that, how I watch the Facebook. If you don't, it just leave it alone. Let younger, fresher, innovative, more progressive minds handle that
That
shit.
Yes,
that part.
yes.
That part.
Papa gonna go take a nap.
Because I'm not trying to drop it low and spread it wide with my 54-year-old wide ass. I'm gonna leave that to the youngins. All right. On that note, leave the youth something to do, like
Yes,
run this country. Okay. Anyway, I mean, it's crazy because it's like the only people who understand the value of youth are in the entertainment industry and the media, and they only use youth because they're, nose open and eyes closed, and they can manipulate out of them and they lies for the next 50 years. It's time for us to start listening to younger generations of people like
yes,
Kamala,
yes,
and she's going to do a
yes,
great job when she wins president. Thank you
yes.
guys so
A black
much.
job.
Right. It's a black
Baby.
job.
And can we, okay, this is another thing we got to straighten out before we let these people up out of here. Again, press like if you're watching us on YouTube, and shout out to all the people who are watching us on X tonight. Um, why do people keep saying that she's already in office and she's not doing anything as if her job is to tell Joe Biden what his policy should be? Like she was the vice
Facts.
president. So
I
why do
don't think
people
people
Facts.
understand. They don't understand what the two offices do. And that's one of the
No.
things that has never come up on any vice president that has ran for president. And there have been several over the years that have run
well
for
what you do
president.
while you was vice president?
No, and nobody asked that question of the vice president that's running for president. And like he said last night, why haven't you done this? You're in office. And in my mind, and I could read it on her face, like that's not my job. I'm not the
She just
president.
didn't even dignify that shit with a response because
She
again,
didn't. But it's just like you were the president and you should know that your vice president wasn't doing all the stuff. If you asking Kamala Harris why she ain't doing it, because that ain't her job, bro.
and because there
No.
are
Yet.
people
It's
out there that
no.
will actually believe that it was her job,
Mm-hmm.
and if
I'm
you
gonna
don't
bring this
know the
back
difference
to
between president and vice president, then you damn sure shouldn't be making a decision. Never mind. I don't want people
no.
to feel attacked.
I'm gonna bring us back to again civics. Okay. You can also go to just the senate.gov. Okay. It will tell you what the role and office of the vice president is, right? The only time a VP is going to even be referred to as president is when they are presiding over the Senate. That
Yep.
is their primary constitutional function. Okay? So, again, look, family, I want us come November 5th. I want us to be able to know all three branches, what they do, and all the checks and balances that those branches are supposed to have on one another. That's my challenge and my
Judicial,
call to
legislative, and
anybody
executive.
listening. If you don't know that, I want you to go Google it. Okay, AI is gonna help you out. Chat, GPT and all them gonna give you the full rundown. Print it out, study it if you have to. But you need to understand this because they're using this to divide us, family. Okay,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
Schoolhouse Rock
whew,
is on HBO Max. That's the easiest version.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm
Okay?
only a bill. And I'm
Schoolhouse
sitting
Rock
here on
is on
Capitol Hill.
HBO Max. Just go look up the political ones. It's
Schoolhouse
in a
Rock.
song form so you can
Schoolhouse
remember it easier. Okay? Schoolhouse Rock is on HBO
Rock.
Max.
Yes.
And then
Shout out to
then watch
Schoolhouse
yourself.
Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock. Just go watch the Schoolhouse Rocks. They even updated some of them, so they got some newer
Oh, they
ones.
have. Okay.
Yeah,
See, listen.
the
So
three
even
ring
Schoolhouse
circus.
Rock has evolved. It's time for this country to
Schoolhouse Rock, and
evolve.
that started in the 70s. The three ring circus talks about the three branches of government. It's on HBO Max. If you subscribe to HBO Max, go watch the Schoolhouse Rocks. That's the simplest version. It's for children, so it's really easy to understand.
And that's not to be condescending.
It's
It's
not.
just I'm gonna go watch it
You
because
need
I
a
need to brush up.
if you
Yeah.
need a refresher,
Yeah.
if you need a
right.
refresher, HBO Max has Schoolhouse Rock. Go watch it if you need that refresher.
All right,
That's the
y'all. Well, we
simple.
are under 2 hours. And while we're still under 2 hours, we're going to say goodnight to everybody. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. Go to bed. Please make sure you press the subscribe and the like button. We will be back. And I think we should really attack this issue of mental health and maintaining our mental health during this high
Yes.
stress political season. All right. I'm Nikki Gilbert
Yes.
Daniels, Pamela Price, and Lauren Bates. We are Worth Media, Worth TV, front to bottom
All of
up,
that.
and finna vote for Kamala. All right, y'all. Good night, ladies. I thank
Good
y'all so much. Good night,
night.
everybody. Have a good one.